Welcome to another episode of Consumer Protection and You with Ryan Lippe. Today he's going to be looking at cybersecurity and all the different ways that the state of Ohio Attorney General's office can assist you. So stay tuned. Welcome to another episode of Consumer Protection and You with Ryan Lippe. Ryan Lippe is a consumer educator with the state of Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost office. Ryan, it's always a pleasure talking with you.
Great. Well, thanks for having me. Hopefully over the months and years, we're educating your viewing audience on a lot of important issues. And I don't think anything could be more important now than cybersecurity.
Boy, that is the truth. In some of our past episodes, you have shared a number of different things to be on the lookout, but it just seems that as the technology continues to grow and be better, and along with AI, it just seems that cybersecurity is really a difficult nut to crack.
Well, and not only that, we deal with cybersecurity at all different age groups. I mean, we talk with teens all the way up to older adults about cybersecurity. Now, we do have a different presentation for teens, but one thing that we've been trying to do is help older adults adapt to social media, because there was a statistic I saw this was way back in 2019, that 40% of those 65 and older were on social media. And I thought that was pretty high. I have a couple parents, and one is online and the other's not. And my mom has never sent an email before, never gotten on social media, doesn't have a connection to the internet, doesn't have a smartphone. But my dad, on the other hand, has all the devices. And he's just, his only question is, why doesn't his watch sync better with his iPhone? So I deal with parents directly on lots of questions about cybersecurity. But the fact is that older adults are adapting to social media as they get online. Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the different different social media platforms give them some cause to think, how should I protect myself? What am I doing to make sure that my privacy and my security are on board with me as I explore all these different social media platforms and create accounts and things like that? Because we know older adults are vulnerable to scams. And so when you deal with direct messages from all these social media outlets, you deal with more accounts, you deal with more passwords, you deal with more PIN numbers, and you've got a lot of people out there that may not be fully educated on how to protect themselves online and on social media.
It seems to me that most individuals, when they relate information about cybersecurity, they think that the only thing that's going to happen is that their checkbook gets depleted if you're online. But that is not necessarily the case.
Well, I mean, the fact is that when you post a message on social media, it can go out to a wider audience than you expect it to. Even if you have your settings perfect and you have it only going to friends, what's going to stop one of your so-called Facebook friends from taking a screenshot of it and sending it out to a wider audience, or archiving a website or a social media site? And then, of course, it could last forever when in fact you didn't want it to. So just like we educate teens about being careful what they post online, we as older adults have to be careful as well, because it could help someone learn just enough about us to commit identity theft, or learn just about enough from us to use our personal information to commit a fraud. So things that we purposely share, like our dog's name, our favorite football team, the street we grew up on, the high school and college we went to, our alma mater mascot, all these things could be passwords and password reset questions in our online life. So it's important that you think those things through and make sure that your passwords are long, strong, and difficult for anyone to guess. So if you're a big Browns fan and you're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you think a perfect password for you would be Browns1234, and you always gloat about how great the Browns are on your social media accounts, that might not be the best password for you. Someone would probably be able to guess it pretty quickly. So, in fact, these days, they want passwords to be at least 12 characters long to be strong enough. Include special characters, upper and lowercase letters, numbers, random numbers, things like that. In fact, there are some experts out there that call for passphrases that are even longer than passwords, whole phrases that maybe someone might not guess would apply to you in your online life. And then, of course, there are password managers to help us with all of these unique, strong passwords that experts recommend us to have. So that a password manager essentially is going to give you the ability to develop one master password that help you with all the other connections you need on your online accounts. They can make up long and strong passwords that you don't need to remember on a daily basis, as long as you do remember your master password. So that's password managers are available. Some cost a little bit of money, but it's always good to go with a reputable password manager, maybe some product or service that your friends and family or someone in IT close to you recommends that you take a look at. Again, it's called a password manager, and it's a whole set of competing products out there that usually there's a monthly charge or a yearly charge, but it can be worth it in order to save us from repeating passwords, making them easy for us to remember, but making it also easy for a scammer to hack our accounts.
I noticed that on some of the internet providers, such as Google Chrome, they've been advertising that you can store all of your passwords, and they will ensure that they're safe. And I sometimes wonder, we're dealing with electronics, and we're dealing with individuals that are really very smart when it comes to computer codes, things of that nature. That is anything really safe?
Well, it's hard to be 100% efficient when it comes to, and effective when it comes to security and privacy online. And I'll be the first to admit, if you apply all of the Attorney General's tips, all of the tips that we give for cybersecurity, that you're not still going to be 100% cyber safe. But the best we can do is keep a little bit ahead of the scammers, give people some solid advice, and make it less likely that someone is going to hack into the account, commit identity theft, steal money, do all those terrible things that we know scammers are trying to do to us. So it's sort of like you don't leave your door unlocked, your front door unlocked. You may have an alarm. You may have your shades drawn. There's steps after steps after steps you can take in your personal life involving physical privacy that can kind of also be a parallel to what you do in the virtual world. We don't leave our door wide open. Some people invest in an alarm. Some people don't. Some people have window monitors that will sound alarm and call 911 in the event that the window's broken. Some people don't. But, for the most part, in all areas of Ohio, we've been taught to lock our doors. We've been taught to close our windows and keep our blinds drawn if we don't want people to see in our windows. So a lot of that can be applied. In fact, the Zero Knowledge Privacy Foundation sort of talks about privacy and security in just that way. They talk about the lock on your front door and the blinds on your windows as being paramount to what we deal with online. We wouldn't want someone to walk through our front door unless we know they're coming, and then we might leave it unlocked or at least answer the front door. But in fact, that's what some people are doing by not applying smart security tips online, is they're sort of leaving everything open for the identity thief or for the cyber criminal.
So you had mentioned that the state of Ohio Attorney General has put out a number of different tips. What are some of those tips that you might share with the public?
Yeah, we have one particular publication we did a couple of years ago that's still active online at ohioattorneygenera.gov. It's called CyberSmarts for Older Adults. And it's, as you can tell, directed to the older population that may be, a little on edge when they're online. Which it's good to be on edge. It's good to be a little skeptical. You don't have to be paranoid, but be skeptical of anything that's too good to be true. And when you're on social media, change your privacy settings to meet your needs. So just because if you set your account to be public, anyone can see information about you, including your pictures, your names of your family members and friends, things like that. But again, as I mentioned, even if you only want your friends to see your information, better safe than sorry. Pretend like everybody's going to see everything, and don't put anything online unless you want to share that with the outside world. You want to watch for scammers that might try to impersonate your social media friends, or try to tell you that they need money, or they unexpectedly ask you to buy a gift card. A lot of times those are hackers that pretend to be your Facebook friend, or even duplicate one of your friends' accounts to try to make it look like they're impersonating someone close to you, a friend, a relative, someone like that. So watch out for family emergency scams or anybody trying to trick you into buying gift cards or sending money to them through social media. Just like how we've gotten used to dealing with scam emails and scam text messages, we also need to deal with scam direct messages and scam postings on social media, regardless of the platform. If you're on LinkedIn for work, and if you're on Instagram for your personal life, it's important to apply a lot of good, solid tips to keep yourself safe and to keep your personal information private.
I think the key word is gift cards. It seems to me that most all scams surround gift cards.
It seems like it. That's really a big red flag now, is when someone asks you to buy gift cards or even a prepaid money card that you can buy at a gas station or a grocery store, pharmacy. Those are cards that are meant to be given as gifts. But unfortunately, we've had a lot of cases where church pastors have been impostered. We've had folks that are in nonprofit organizations where someone impersonates the CEO or another executive and sends emails out to their staff that look real, saying, I'm in a pinch. I need you to go get a couple of gift cards for me. I'll reimburse you. Just send me the numbers to them, and I'll drain the funds off those gift cards. It'd be fine if they were telling the truth, but in fact, these are all real good imposters. And I think most of the information from the church or from the organization is posted online. So that may be how scammers get wind of who works for who, and how to craft their emails, may be based on the fact that a lot of information is readily available online about their staff and about the structure of their leadership chain.
About 10, 12 years ago, I received an email from an associate that I worked with prior to that, that we had not been working together for 5 years or so. And the individual said that they were in Europe and they got into a jam of sorts. And could they please have me send some money to help them? It sounded really legit. And one of the things that I did was I took that phone number that they said to call and I put it onto the internet. And it listed a number of different scams associated with that phone number. So, uh, for a while there, I was seriously thinking, well, this person, was a good friend and I'll help him out. But
Yeah.
how easy it is to be sucked into another person's possible problems.
And one thing you can try is, scammers often disguise the name displayed to you in an email. So to verify the actual email address, you can try hovering your cursor over the sender's name that's displayed to find their real email address, because in fact, they may be hiding behind an email address that's familiar to you or looks familiar to you, but or it might belong to a company that they want to claim they're affiliated with, when in fact it's a scam and they're actually operating behind an email that's from another country or that clearly just shows they're trying to disguise themselves.
That's interesting. Just recently, Ryan, I received a phone message. Usually, I do not answer the phone unless I know specifically who that individual is, and I'll let it go into the voicemail.
And that's great advice right there. I mean, that's our primary advice to people is not to answer the phone unless they know who that number belongs to. And if it's someone you don't recognize, let it go to voicemail. But anyway, I wanted to bring that up as a primary tip for people wanting to avoid robocalls.
Yeah.
More and more phones are giving you a display name that says scam likely, possible scam. That's the telephone company trying to tell you, hey, this has been a reported bad number. Do you really want to answer the phone to these folks?
So when I listened to the voicemail, the voice message, that individual said, "Hey, we got your application for a loan. We just need some additional information. Please call us back at whatever that number was." So it is interesting how they use different tactics, not just on the internet, but also on the phone, which ties into the internet.
Sure. And, no matter what, they're trying to get you to respond. They're trying to get you to answer that phone. So they use what we call caller ID spoofing, which is a little technology that they can apply to their phone line that puts whatever they want you to see on your caller ID display. So much for caller ID being 100% effective. It's absolutely not. People use Ohio area codes like 740 or 614, 419. They'll make it look like a local number when really they're calling from Ghana, Jamaica, Nigeria, an Asian country. They make it look like it's a local number just so you answer the phone so they get their foot in the door. And sometimes that's all they need is that foot in the door to get you to disclose personal information or give them money under false pretenses.
Oh, that's very true. One of the other things that they also seem to get is when they go into Facebook, like you were mentioning with social media, we put a ton of information on there that we ourselves think this can't harm us in any way. So we put the dog's pet's name, where we've been, all the different things. Here's a couple hundred pictures of my children at amusement park, etc. And that information really mounts up.
Absolutely. And also, beyond that, the fact that people are posting photos in real time showing where they are can help someone geolocate where they are, which could process, potential problems with their personal security, whether they have a home that they've left empty or whether they're at a location where the scammer is. That's disclosed through posting photos in real time. So I always tell folks to be careful, take a deep breath before you post those photos. Maybe wait till you come home so a scammer doesn't know that you have an empty house or an empty apartment. Wait to post those photos till you're back home. And, again, don't post anything that could lead someone to understand better your passwords or your password reset questions and answers. All of us, when we get into a social media account or any other account, a lot of times they'll ask for the answer to a security question, like the street you grew up on or the college you attended. If somebody can find out that information readily about you, don't use that question and answer. Or maybe lie and say you went to the University of Michigan when you really went to Ohio State. So someone won't be able to reset the account right from under your fingertips. Right. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of information online, and once it's online, it's hard to take it off. So we try to prevent people from putting a lot of personal, private, confidential information online. And that can include things like your full birth date. It includes obvious things like a social security number, but even your pet's name or the kind of pet you own can tell someone a little more about you and get them to guess some of your closely held passwords. But we also want to make sure people are in the mode of still using antivirus protection for their computers. Scan your hard drive as often as you need to check for antivirus hits, in terms of anybody that's put spyware or other forms of malware on your computer. And make sure you update your antivirus program as well as your operating system and your internet browser, because there may be security patches that you can only get by doing those updates, or at least having your computer check for updates on a regular basis. If it asks you if you want it to check automatically for updates, absolutely. That's a great tool that you can use so that you then don't have to manually check for updates to your operating system, your internet browser, and your antivirus.
What is one of the most common things, or several of the common things, that the state of Ohio Attorney General office receives per year?
Well, we get a lot of imposter scams reported to our office where someone pretends to be Social Security or pretends to be the IRS. Right now, we see a lot of scams involving Amazon impersonators, eBay impersonators. Big companies are always subject to people claiming to be from that company. And then certainly we get a lot of complaints about home contractors and home repair folks. So as we get into the spring and summer, it's very important that people really do some research before hiring someone to do work on their home. Because one of our complaint categories that I try to really promote as being prone to scams and prone to problems is home repair and home remodeling and home improvement. So you really want to be careful. Don't put all your money as a down payment, and just be safe and secure when you're doing research so that you don't hire the wrong company and the wrong person to come and do work in your home or outside your home.
Those are good pieces of advice. I know we're getting short on time. So what are the top tips that you would like to share with the public?
Well, certainly you want to make sure that you use secure websites when you're putting in any personal information. So look for that HTTPS at the beginning of your address. So if you're going to websites and they aren't HTTPS in the address bar, that is your clue to stay away from putting in personal information like credit cards or full addresses or anything like that on those websites. All the websites I visit that I give my credit card number to or passwords are HTTPS. The S stands for secure. And on some internet browsers, your address bar may turn green or you may see a padlock. So know some of the telltale signs that you're on a secure website. But beyond that, make sure you do not use free public Wi-Fi. Even if it's in an otherwise safe spot like a library or your favorite coffee shop, don't use free public Wi-Fi to conduct any business that includes passwords or addresses or credit card numbers, anything like that. Save all that for when you're behind your home network that hopefully is secure with a firewall and encryption and things like that. You don't want to make the mistake of using free public Wi-Fi for any kind of purchasing or anything like that. And, if you need to, invest in a virtual private network, a VPN. A virtual private network helps take the intruders and send them off in another direction, essentially, making sure you're a little more protected out there when you are using free public Wi-Fi or really any site, any connection to the internet. Might be strengthened through the use of a virtual private network. So another thing your viewers can do a little bit of research on is a reputable VPN, virtual private network.
We had mentioned on previous shows that sometimes we have a group gathering. It's my understanding that as a consumer educator, you go out to different places and you talk about these and other issues, etc. Care to share a little bit about how an individual can contact you and
Yeah, that's great. We are available to come out. We have 3 educators in the consumer protection section. All of us can go statewide. So if you have a group of 20 or more individuals, we can give an in-person presentation. If you expect to have fewer than 20, we can do a virtual presentation for any size group, big or small. So let us know how we can help. It's as easy as a phone call to the Ohio Attorney General's office's help center at 800-282-0515, or visit ohioattorneygenera.gov, and you can request a speaker about such topics as cybersecurity, consumer scams, senior scams, shopping smart and knowing your consumer rights, and identity theft. Those are probably the most requested topics of presentations that we give on a weekly basis in the field throughout Ohio at the Attorney General's office. Part of my job is to go out in public and give these presentations and to have tables of literature at events. So if you have a table event, a resource fair, something you want us to attend, like a senior day at the county fair, let us know through that toll-free number and tell them you want either a consumer presentation or to reach out to the consumer protection section about an event that we may want to attend.
Hey, we're talking with Ryan Lippe. Ryan Lippe is a consumer educator with the State of Ohio Attorney General's Dave Yost office. Ryan, thank you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it, Patrick.